Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Devontae, and I sacrifice my time so you don't have to. You know, I always hear these ad hominems about the people that we watch on our wrestling TV show about them being this and being that. Woe is me. They're talking all that shit, but they haven't done anything for the business, even though they've done ton for the business. Woe is me. They're not relevant in professional wrestling today, so they can't talk about professional wrestling. Yes, we can't talk about professional wrestling. Yes, they can't talk about professional wrestling. Anybody can have an opinion on any given subject if, it's in their brain. And if they have a mouth and they're not mute or related to Helen Keller in any given way. My point being is just because you disagree with them doesn't mean that they don't have any merit to the things that they say. You know what you could do though? You can try disproving them. You can try breaking up evidence rather than having to spit out the ad hominems because you know that they're right and you can't really argue with their position, no matter how much you like it. You know, when it comes to politics, I feel the same way too. There's so many contradictions within the conservative party that, like, when people call them out for certain things, how the fuck do I defend it? Nor can I defend it. I can't defend it. All I can do is just stand on the positions as to why I'm a conservative. That's why I never try to defend the conservative party. I can't. They have done some stupid things in the past. But what I can do is tell you why I'm a conservative and why I'm not a Democrat. Why I'm a Republican and why I'm not a Democrat. Why I'm not a liberal and why I'm a conservative. However you want to fucking flip it. And the same thing can be said about professional wrestling. The positions that I take in professional wrestling, yeah, it's going to contradict one person's, perspective that I applaud a couple of years ago or a couple of months ago. Yeah, there are going to be positions that I'm going to take. Well, in the end of the day, it's going to make me look hypocritical. I can't stop myself from thinking the things that I think just because in one way or another, it's going to contradict the other fucking position that I had beforehand. Doesn't mean that the position that I have is incorrect or correct. I hate those kind of arguments. Which brings us to our subject today, Mr. Eric Bischoff, Eazy-E himself, talking about AEW not being able to hit 1 million views again, nor will they ever be able to hit 1 million views again. And of course, the AEW fanboys, they came out in droves. Oh, Eric, you're not relevant. Oh, Eric, you're jealous of Tony. Oh, Eric, you didn't do this obscure, insignificant fucking metric that AEW did. I mean, never mind the fact that no matter what you want to say about AEW, they will never, under any circumstances, without a shadow of a doubt, be anywhere close to WCW's relevance, no matter what the fuck you say, at all. WCW's been gone for nearly 25 years now, and they're more relevant today, being gone for almost 25 years, than AEW at its peak. Get the fuck over yourselves. But let's listen to what Mr. Eric Bischoff has to say. I won't read the entire, or maybe I should read the entire article. I should probably get some context to this. I'll leave the link down in the description box below. It's my arch rival Ringside News reporting on this, so bear with us. And yes, by us, I mean them for their shitty articles and me for not wanting to skibbity them in Minecraft. WWE Hall of Famer Eric Bischoff, renowned for his extensive knowledge of the pro wrestling industry, has often criticized AEW, including questioning Tony Khan's abilities as a booker. Bischoff has also expressed skepticism about AEW Dynamite ever reaching 1 million viewers again. If it wasn't clear already, Eric Bischoff isn't the biggest fan of AEW. He doesn't even believe AEW is contributing anything to the world of professional wrestling, unlike what WWE does, which is just fucking obvious, but okay, they're saying like it's controversial, that's fucking obvious. While speaking on his 83 Weeks podcast, which by the way, go check it out, Eric Bischoff and his podcast are the bee's knees, they are the skibbity of all Minecrafts. Eric Bischoff stated that he believes AEW Dynamite will never hit 1 million viewers again. When asked if he meant it, Bischoff stated that he is willing to bet a lot of money on AEW Dynamite never getting 1 million viewers. We're going to come back to that because I got something to say about that. Eazy noted that if there were ever a major shift in vision, strategy, or the creative team, there might be hope, but he acknowledged how unlikely that is. There you go, Eric. That's what I was going to say. Okay. Ignore what I said previously. Setting that aside, he's assessed the current situation, including the behind the camera. He expressed skepticism about the company ever reaching 1 million viewers again, suggesting they would be fortunate to hit 800,000. With the arrival of fall in the football season, he predicted they will struggle to maintain even that number. Ooh, that's a really good point. I never even thought about that. That's a good point. I want to talk more about that, actually. Bischoff speculated that a change might trigger a new creative direction for ideas, but he dismissed the likelihood of success if it continues to rely on excessive blood and high spots. So, going off what Eric Bischoff is saying, and I quote, this is coming directly from Eazy-E himself, they may not ever succeed in ever getting 1 million viewers again. I got a lot of money on it. What could they possibly do now? If there's a massive change in vision and strategy and people involved in the creative process, then maybe there's always hope, but we both know how likely that is. So setting that aside, I'm looking at what they've got, where they've been, and the talent. I'm not talking about the talent in the ring, but the talent behind the camera. Good point. There's absolutely no reason to believe they'll ever hit 1 million again. They're going to be lucky to hit 800,000 again. We're going into fall and football and college football, and I don't think they'll have a hard time seeing 800,000. Like I said, maybe it'll start a chain reaction of creative vision or ideas, or just throw some other expletive, which I'm assuming he means shit. I'll say shit. It says expletive, but he means shit. Or just throw some other shit up against the wall. Something that doesn't involve, I don't know, fucking blood, I'm assuming, and 300 high spots. Eric Bischoff even stated that AEW is bleeding on the table when it comes to their storylines and accused Tony Khan of running AEW like a hobby, which I've been saying for years now. Nevertheless, only time will tell if Tony Khan will improve the product to a point that AEW Dynamite will get 1 million viewers ever again. And like I said, the AEW fanboys are out in droves. That's the end of the article, by the way. They're out in droves. They're talking about, Eric Bischoff. He's obsessed with, it's kind of the same criticism I get all the time. Just, half the shit that they say about Eric Bischoff, you can absolutely say about me, but you can't say about Bischoff. I've never been in the industry, nor would I ever want to be in the industry, especially in today's day and age. The things that you say about Eric Bischoff about being successful, you can say that about me, but you can never say that about Eric Bischoff. He has been successful. He has actually challenged Vince McMahon. The only one who has legitimately challenged Vince McMahon. Gave him a run for his money. At one point in time, made Vince McMahon the number 2 in the nation. Tony can never say that. He can never, ever, ever say that. Eric Bischoff is the guy where if it wasn't for him, the momentum given to WWE to even have, the idea to have the Attitude Era wouldn't have even been a thing, or at least been pushed through the Attitude Era, wouldn't have been a thing. One may argue if it wasn't for Eric Bischoff, WWE right now in their position as far as being $1 billion company would not have been a thing. It was all Eric Bischoff doing the chasing that made Vince McMahon restructure how he wants to run his business. If it wasn't for Eric Bischoff, there would be no incentive for Vince McMahon to do what he did, which eventually made him $1 billion company and essentially a billionaire afterwards. That was all Eric Bischoff. What the fuck did Tony Khan do? What the fuck has Tony Khan done? Absolutely jack shit. That's why it's so fucking hilarious to me when I see people like Dave Meltzer come out of the fucking woodworks and he talks about all the negative aspects of WCW in regards to how Eric Bischoff ran it into the ground. Okay, you can focus on all the negatives all you want to, but I can definitely tell you the positives outwardly outweigh the fucking negatives, and there's no one who can dispute that fact. Some of the biggest household names in professional wrestling only happen through the momentum of Eric Bischoff, whether it's from a positive standpoint in regards to how he ran WCW that gave Vince McMahon the incentive to want to push the superstars in his company, or whether it's by the negatives, which again, you can say Eric Bischoff was a detriment, but if it wasn't for him being a detriment in that manner, which by the way didn't even mean anything, because it's not as if Eric Bischoff was fucking Nostradamus and he could tell that the superstars that he ended up not really believing in or firing or whatever the case may be, it's not as if he could fucking see the future and foretell that they'll be some of the biggest names in the history of professional wrestling. Austin got fired through FedEx because of Eric Bischoff. I don't think Eric had in his mind that Stone Cold Steve Austin, the ringmaster at that point, not even the fucking ringmaster. I love Stunning Steve Austin. He wasn't a draw. Let's just call facts what it is, okay? He wasn't a draw. No one could have fucking foretell that goddamn Stunning Steve Austin was gonna be the biggest wrestler of all time. Who the fuck would have been able to tell that? Who the fuck would have been able to tell that? Cactus Jack leaving and then eventually becoming Mankind? Who the fuck would have been able to see that? Fucking, the Blue Blood terrorizing? Leaving and becoming The guy who's running WWE right now, who the fuck would be able to tell that? That's why when I look at how these Dave Meltzer cucks go around talking about how Eric Bischoff was a detriment or a negative and he didn't do anything in regards to what AEW is currently doing at the moment, you're nitpicking numbers in order to compare it to Eric Bischoff, because in the end of the day, you can actually go after the main thing that Eric Bischoff is actually known for, which is being a fucking credible, a credit to the company, a credit to the industry, a credit to the business. Like I said, the things that WWE are doing right now and in the position that they're currently in right now, and their wrestlers, their legends, their Hall of Famers, some of the biggest wrestlers, if not the biggest wrestlers in the history of the industry, would not be in the position that they're in today if it wasn't for Eric Bischoff, positive or negative. You can't take that away from him, and you can't rewrite history and pretend that Tony Khan is a better fucking, credit to the business than fucking Eric Bischoff? Are you out of your fucking minds? But of course, these people are out of their fucking minds, because in their minds, it's one little thing that fucking matters, and the only thing that matters is the in-ring action. And lo and behold, Eric Bischoff, while he was busy pushing the Giant and Hulk Hogan and Lex Luger and Kevin Nash, Tony Khan is pushing Will Ospreay, and he's out there pushing Okada, and he's pushing Kenny Omega. Yeah, totally good. By the way, even on that right there, I mean, fuck, how do you think Ospreay and Omega even came into the business? Why do you think they even want to come into the business to begin with? Who the fuck do you think was presenting the shit on television that probably even became an influence on guys like Ospreay and Omega for them to even want to come into business to begin with? What do you think that came from? That was from Eric Bischoff too! Him in the Cruiserweight division. You don't think that wasn't even the main catalyst as to why half the guys, if not 3/4 of the guys that are in AEW right now, didn't want to become professional wrestlers? Like, you don't think the likes of Jericho, the likes of Benoit, the likes of Guerrero, the likes of Mysterio Jr., you don't think Malenko? You don't think any Ultimo Dragon? Juice? Fuck, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. Tony Khan outright ripping off Eric Bischoff in regards to him bringing over talent, international talent, to be centerpieces within his division. The only difference is Eric Bischoff wasn't a dumb fuck, and he didn't make that the fucking main event scene. He made actual names the main event scene, and he made that the exciting undercard. I mean, that actually, kind of proves how much of a dumb fuck Tony Khan is, but I digress. Fucking retarded goddamn narrative. And you know what? For as much shit that Eric Bischoff has gotten as a promoter and being this and being that, can someone bring up some ratings to me for a second? Someone bring up the viewership numbers to me. Can someone tell me, was there ever a time when Eric Bischoff was a producer, whether he was an executive director, whether he was the guy who was booking the shows and everything? Name me one fucking time Eric Bischoff at any point, period, I'm very curious, maybe sometime in TNA, and even then, I don't even know about that. Someone tell me, was there ever a time when Eric Bischoff worked for a wrestling company and they got below 1 million views? Anybody? I'm curious, super fucking curious. Was there ever a time where Eric Bischoff was in charge of a company and they were below 1 million views? I'm very curious. Very super duper fucking curious. If AEW was in the time frame that WCW existed and they got the numbers that they got right there, they would have been kicked off within the first fucking month, let alone being able to last as long as they did currently at the moment right now. Miss me with the nonsense. But back to what Eric Bischoff was saying about the million viewers. I know people are like, Devontae, you're glazing the shit out of Eric Bischoff. No, I'm giving you a bit of an education because of the stupid fucking narrative within the IWC about Eric Bischoff being a detriment to the wrestling business. As to what? Tony Khan being the pride, being the guy who's leading the charge, the wave of the future within professional wrestling, which is nothing more than limiting its fucking relevancy. I hate that fucking narrative when you're comparing Tony Khan to Eric Bischoff. Don't even put those two in the same sentence. Fuck, don't even put them in the same stratosphere. Just because Eric Bischoff isn't in the wrestling business in the sense that he's on television every week, or writing television, or in a creative position, or in any position within the wrestling business currently at the moment, don't ever look at him as far as not being I wouldn't necessarily say irrelevant, but more so in the spotlight. But Tony Khan's in the spotlight, therefore he's the bigger deal, and therefore we have to eradicate all of fucking history in regards to what Eric has done. Not only is that recency bias, that's ignorance on the part of your fucking history. But I digress back to what I was saying about the million viewers. Eric Bischoff is right about everything that he says, but I do kind of want to touch a little bit on what he was saying, because there was one part. I want to actually go back to that real quick. Let me scroll back up again, because he said something that really caught my attention. Let me see. Yeah, it was the football thing, right? He notated something that was very, very... And I never even thought about this, honestly. So, we're in the summertime right now, right? Where kids are out of school. You know, people, you know, the working schedule isn't as hard as, you know, it'd be in the fall and winter season because of the holidays and shit like that. It's the summertime. Most people, you know, obviously people are working, but more kids are out of school. There are more people who are able to sit around and watch TV or anything along the lines of that, right? It is kind of weird to me how you see AEW in this position currently at the moment, right? They're in this stronghold position that they can't get themselves out of as far as not being able to hit 800,000 viewers. And mind you, with WWE and WrestleMania season, notice, I never even thought about this too, with WrestleMania season, that's when they started to decrease more and more and more and more and more. I don't know if you guys realize this, in the past, even with shows like TNA and, you know, obviously local indie markets and stuff like that, especially during WrestleMania weekend, with WrestleMania being a big deal, obviously that's going to be an increase in viewership for WWE because it's fucking WrestleMania. But with that becomes interest within the wrestling industry as a whole. With WWE being as big as they are, wrestling gets a little bit more, you know, viewership, you know, a little bit more acknowledgement, a little bit more eyes on the entire industry because it's WrestleMania season, right? Obviously, it's not something that notate as far as being a big, you know, fucking push or anything like that, but it's noticeable enough that you can actually see it, right? So, like, typically, especially, like I said, with the indie markets, that's why they like to put their shows around the WrestleMania, you know, area. Traditionally, like, all the, you know, I remember in the past watching or seeing ROH or PWG, you know, they want to be able to station their shows around the WrestleMania area so they can be able to, you know, kind of siphon off of that. That's usually how that works. Whereas with AEW, they decreased. You would think these shows got a boom in their market and they have no television. Whereas with AEW, they have television. WWE, again, it's not something worth noting, but you would think that at the very least they wouldn't decrease. They'd be at least stagnant because it's not just WrestleMania and WWE. That in itself has its own pattern. But it's just, I don't know, it's just weird. It'd be like no different. For an example, if, like, hypothetically speaking, I want to think of like a really, really big word. Okay, Jim Cornette, for an example, right? In my opinion, I think he's one of the biggest wrestling podcasters out there, right? Let's just hypothetically say Jim Cornette were to upload a video on YouTube, right? And he were to talk about, say, for an example, I don't know, a really, really, really hot topic, right? Let's just hypothetically say he's talking about the Vince McMahon allegations, right? Let's say he was the first person to break that, right? Typically, what would happen, because Jim Cornette talks about it, you know, if he's going to get a lot of views, right? So the traffic going to his channel, if I were to talk about that, some traffic is going to come to my channel when people are looking to hear what Jim Cornette is going to talk about. That's how that works. Like, it funnels itself down. The same way, and the same thing happens with WWE. You guys notice more than I do. When WWE is healthy, the wrestling industry is healthy. And it is kind of weird knowing that they're in this position currently at the moment over the summertime, being able to hit some record lows. And now we're going into a season where everybody's going to be hitting record lows. Everybody's going to have less viability. You know what I mean? It's football season. WWE is going to get wrecked like they do every fucking year. But they're wrecked as far as WWE is considered because they have such a loyal following. They'll probably hit record lows in like the 1.4s or the 1.5s or something along the lines of that, right? Whereas with AEW, their record lows during football season could be way more egregious compared to WWE. And people are like, well, Devontae, they're on Mondays. Well, I mean, I'm looking at the number right now and I look at the pattern. It seems like once you get around October, that's when the next bracket gets hit. You know what I mean? Like, go look at the ratings. If I'm not mistaken, when was the last time they had 900,000 views? I think it was October, right? Every time you hit around that October period, more and more people start to watch football and compare it to professional wrestling, and some just don't come back, you know what I mean? WWE is a little bit luckier because they're an established brand, so people typically come back to that. But as you can see with AEW, they typically don't have people coming back to them. Here, but I am curious though. I'll give you a perfect example, because what Eric Bischoff said has a lot of fucking credibility to it. I'm very curious. Let's go back to 2023. I'm curious. So I'm looking for a 900,000 number. Okay, so the last time they got 900. Okay, so 901. I might be right, and I was just throwing out a fucking month, and I might be right about this. 901,000 was October 18th, 2023, and I scroll down. Yeah, see, I didn't even have to fucking look. You hear me? I'm talking to you guys right now. I didn't even have to look. And yet, that's a pattern that I noticed. Once you get around October, that's when the bracket starts to drop. You know what I mean? So last year, October 18th was the last time they got in the 900,000 mark. They haven't seen 900,000 in almost a year. So once we get to the next October, I mean, are they going to be forever stuck at 600,000? Right? They can barely hold down 700,000. Once we get around the football season, what's going to happen then? Are they going to be at 600,000? The following year, are they going to be at 500,000? The following year, 400,000. Don't pretend as if this can't be a thing. Collision right now is already averaging 400,000. Rampage is already averaging 300,000. It's not like it's impossible for Dynamite to hit those same fucking numbers if they keep it up with the product that they currently have at the moment. But leave it up to everybody else. Oh, Tony Khan, man. He's so much better than Eric Bischoff. Oh, boy. He knows what the fuck he's doing. Yeah, because totally you being able to book some matches in universe mode in real life is totally a credit to the fucking business. Yeah, totally. Yeah, suck it, Dad. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. But let me hear your thoughts down in the comment section below in regards to what Eric Bischoff was saying about AEW. More importantly, how do you feel about the comparisons, which shouldn't even be a thing, but don't let me influence your opinion. How do you feel about the comparisons between Eric Bischoff being a detriment to the wrestling business, but the AEW fanboys going out there and flooding social media and flooding everybody with these lame ass opinions in regards to Tony Khan being a credit to the business compared to Eric Bischoff? Dave Meltzer going out there and talking about, well, they weren't able to ever sell out a show like this, but AEW has. Even though you can go to any person out on the fucking streets and talk about any wrestler from WCW, even to mention WCW as a brand, and there's a good shot they're gonna know what the fuck you're talking about, versus go to those same people and talk about AEW, and maybe you might get someone saying, oh yeah, I think I heard about that somewhere on the news. I think that popped up somewhere on my Geezer Facebook page. But yeah, what are they about? You ain't gotta explain what WCW is about. AEW, they ain't getting that kind of credit. But leave it up to them. Leave it up to the fanboys. Leave it up to everybody else talking about AEW in a positive light. They're a credit to the wrestling business. Motherfuckers can't even get 1 million. Motherfuckers can't get even 9. Motherfuckers can't even make 800. Motherfuckers are now being questioned whether they can hold on to 700,000. They pulling out all the fucking stops without actually taking the actual legitimate route, which is building up names, building up characters, and building up story in order to reach whatever number they have to reach traditionally. Motherfuckers can't even goddamn do that. They have to hotshot everything like they're Vince Russo circa 1999. But you're gonna sit back and question Eric Bischoff. Yeah, totally. Okay, fine. Make yourselves feel better however you want to make yourselves feel better. I'm about to get the fuck up out of here, and I gotta go do other things outside of you guys talking to me or vice versa. I mean, you guys aren't necessarily talking. I mean, maybe you are. Does the comment section count? Is that whatever? I'm gonna bounce. Go get the fuck out of here. Deuces, PIs.